Hi, my name is Andrea of Andrea Gonzalez Motivations. I am here this Friday. I'm here to greet you with love, inspire you with hope, challenge you for change, and impact you for life. It's Friday. And I normally would have talked to you earlier this morning, but I had physical therapy. And with this contraption on my foot, I'm telling you, it takes me forever to get and maneuver myself around. So I'm just happy to be able to talk to you this evening. We're going to talk this Feel Good Friday about skill and will. There are two absolutes that are necessary to be successful. Well, if somebody came to you and said, if you could change anything in your life, what would be the one thing? Only one. You get one. Think about it. Ponder it. What would you change in your life? And then after you discover or you decide for yourself what that one thing is, I'm telling you, if there was a room and it had at least 10 people in it, because everyone's come from a different background. Everyone's come from a different perspective of life. Everyone's come from a different family. I was raised up in the upper part of Michigan, so I'm from the country. There are some that were born in the South. There were some that were born in the inner city. We're all going to have, because we've led different lives, we've had different challenges, we've had different triumphs, we've had different trials. Every person in that room would have a total different answer. For me, I'm going to be very transparent. I had my first child very early, out of wedlock at 17. And 3 years later, I married her father. But that doesn't change the fact that I had her young, I had her out of wedlock, and I had her as unmarried. That doesn't change the fact. So my parents were encouraging me when I was graduating from high school to go off to college and get my education. And that was a choice that was on the table. I decided against that choice because I didn't want to leave my parents responsible for something that I had did. My parents had already raised us to understand right and wrong and to take responsibility for that which you do. And so even though they offered that and they were very sincere, they really wanted me to go away to college, get my education so that I could come back and take care of my daughter to the best of my ability. Well, because I did not want to burden them with something that was not their fault, not their responsibility, it just wasn't. I just felt very heavy in my heart about not doing that. So I worked and, put myself through school. So they were there to help and they were there to support me and all of those things. I'm not taking away any of those things. But if I could change that one thing in my life, what I would change the fact that I didn't take that opportunity that they gave me, which was an opportunity of a lifetime. I should have, because I ended up deciding on a career that I've really not been happy with most of the career, but it has taken care of me and my children very good, very well. And therefore, I've continued because I've gotten so many years in. Now I've done things on the side to satisfy that extra yearning that I have for the things that I wanted, but because of responsibilities, my desires go to the back burner while I took care of and sacrifice my children. I make no regrets for doing that at all, because to see them do what they do today and to help them to get on their way in life, it's an absolute honor for me. It is a blessing for me. It blesses my heart that, I took my responsibility seriously and I did not treat them any kind of way as if I missed out on something. But when we talk about if you could change something, when we talk about skill and will, the two things that need to work together to help you be successful. To have one without the other would be like to have one shoe and not the other shoe on. What I mean by that is, so when I talk about skill, I am referring to having the ability to apply knowledge and information to a specific situation. Oftentimes you'll see people that are very they're zealous. They have a lot of zeal and they have a lot of skill, but then they don't get off the ground because their will doesn't match their skill, or they have a lot of zeal to do what they want to do and they have all of these great ideas, but then they haven't developed any skills to go with it. So then their balloon becomes deflated on the other side. I have been in that place, on that boat, in the air with that balloon at several times in my life. So I went back to school to get other degrees to get the skill so that, I already have the will, but I needed the skill to go with it. That's why I put myself, through school for an associate's, a bachelor's, a master's, and continue to get informed in different areas and gain greater understanding and knowledge. I never stop learning because I need to grow in my skills. And so what I'm talking about is when you get knowledge, when you get information, it's taking that and learning to apply it to something, so that when you apply it to something and you have the will, those two coming together will give you a success that you could never imagine. So they are developed through continual practice, through routine. They're done because you keep doing it over and you just keep getting better and you keep getting better and you keep getting information of what you did, so that you can say, oh, okay, I need to polish up in this area. Oh, I need to become more keen in this area. So as long as the skill that you have, the information, the knowledge, as long as you're taking that and you're applying it, then you're going to help yourself to become more successful. But if you have all the skill in the world and then you don't have that other piece that's called your will, if you don't have the will, the desire, the drive to do it, all the skill in the world doesn't matter. My family, when we get together, we're a very direct family. We're very blunt. We tell each other as siblings, the things that we believe and see. Because my mother used to say, I don't have time to play around with you. I need to tell you directly. So I've been accused of being a direct person. And, over time, I'm trying to work on that because everyone cannot handle being direct. Everyone can't handle, this is the way it is. And so I recognize that and I understand that everyone didn't grow up in the house where I grew up. Everybody didn't have the parents that I had. So with that being said, we often laugh at my sister. We laugh with her. We don't laugh at her. We laugh with her because she has so many skills. She is very talented. She's very bright, but she lacks the will. And so she'll come and we have family gatherings, sibling gatherings, and we'll be talking about what's going on in each other's life. And she'll say consistently for the last 10 years, she's, applied to nursing school, gets in, gets going a little bit, loses her drive and stops. And we're like, okay, so you could have been a nurse like 3 times ago. And so we try to encourage each other for where we're weak. So this having the skill but not having the will doesn't allow you to be successful. Having the will and not getting the skill doesn't allow you to be successful. Having the skill and having the will together, coupled together, will aid you in being more successful. When we talk about your will, we're talking about the mechanisms for choosing from among your desire, whatever desire you have, being able to clearly choose which direction you're going to go. Not only choosing that, but it's a distinct part of the mind. It is a part of the mind that, when they say your mind, your will, and your emotions, with your will, you make decisions, and those decisions determine where you go, how far you go, how deep you go, how high you travel. All of that is in that part of the mind, along with your reasoning and your understanding. That's where the will is located, in that area of the brain. Essential to the field of ethics. So a lot of your will goes to, how you feel about certain things, and then couple your will with your skill and you can become very successful. So today, this Feel Good Friday, do you have a lot of skill, but you lack the will? Do you have a lot of will and you lack the skill? I challenge you today, like I've challenged myself when I've gone back to school to get education. I'm not saying that everyone has to go back to school. Maybe you can learn a new skill by just taking, a community course. I don't know what it is, but whatever your dream is, whatever your desire is, whatever your passion is, are you being serious about it? Are you coming to the table and being honest about what you don't have? Honest about what you do have? Are you being honest to tell yourself, you know what, Andrea, You have the will, you got the drive, you got the energy, but you lack all of these skills. And if you want to do what your dream is telling you to do, then you're going to have to get some skill. Because when you present your idea to someone, they want to know, well, what are your credentials? Well, what skills? Well, where have you practiced this already? Well, what are the results? So today, on this Feel Good Fantastic Friday, I want you to think about this weekend. Whatever it is you want to do, are you coupling your skills along with your will? Or is one greater than the other? Or is one obsolete while the other one is standing very strong? I would encourage you and challenge you today to make your will and your skill not only line up, but build them up so that they become strong and they stand together as pillars. And I am telling you that those are absolutes for success. Skill and will. Again, my sister, we love her, laugh with her, not at her. So she has finally figured out that whether it's cold outside, because she would say, you know, I just lost interest. But then soon as she complains about how much money she doesn't have and she needs and things of that nature, we would say, well, you know, if you would just finish becoming a nurse, you would have had that money. So she finally is in her last year of school. And we just keep encouraging her. Every now and then I'll send her a card and say, hey, was thinking about you. How's everything going? Keep your head in the books. So if you keep your head in the books, it won't be long before you'll be able to draw out the bank. And so I want to encourage her because she has the skill, but I need to encourage her so she can build up her will. And so my shout out is to everyone who has skill, but they need to encourage themselves for the will. And those that have will to build up the knowledge and apply that knowledge for your skill, that they might work together rather than work separately. Skill and will are absolutes in order to be successful. I hope you have a grand weekend. I hope you have an awesome time. I hope you are encouraged by my word. Please drop me a message. I would love to hear from you. I hope and pray that all is well in your home, as well as I pray that things are well in my home. God bless, and I will see you soon.